Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I am so excited to share some massive news with you guys. Alright, so if you saw the title of the video, which of course you did, you know that I am moving, and this has been something that has been in the works for literally years, and I will give you the rundown of everything that's happened and where we are right now as I'm filming this video. I am filming this a bit in advance of when you are going to be seeing this video because I want to wait until we are settled in our new home before I actually start releasing all of the moving content. So first off, if you are new here, hey, I am Allie. I am 31 years old and I currently live in Columbus, Ohio with my husband Ryan and my two puppy dogs, Bernard and Gibby. And here on this channel, you will find a lot of bookish content. That is like my main hobby. I absolutely love to read. I also like to write. So a big part of this channel is me documenting what I read, what I'm working on writing, all of that kind of thing. But I also do put out some lifestyle content, and a lot of that lifestyle content will be moving content over the next few months. So if any of that sounds good to you, do make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. But alright, spiel over. I am just so excited to get into everything with you guys because I feel like I've just kept our whole moving process very secret because I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. I didn't want to just be like talking about it as I have been with people in my real life without any real clue of when things were actually going to happen. So backstory is my husband and I are actually both from Pennsylvania. I have lived in Columbus, Ohio for about 21 years. We have lived here since my baby brother was just a couple months old, so that's always a very easy way for us to figure out how long we've been here. So I moved from the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area to the Columbus, Ohio area when I was in 5th grade. So like I said, it has been 21 years, and I did middle school, junior high, high school here, and then for college and for grad school, I did go back to Pennsylvania. I went to two different schools that were kind of around like the Pittsburgh area, like the western side of the state. And when I was in my senior year of undergrad, I did start dating my now husband. He's actually 2 years younger than me. So while I was completing grad school at another school in Pennsylvania, he was finishing up his undergraduate degree, and after 2 years of us dating, my husband being a senior, me about to graduate grad school, he did propose, and before we got married, we did move out to Columbus. We knew that was going to be where we were going to start our marriage. So I lived with my parents for a while. He got an apartment, and in April of 2018, we did get married. Once we got married, I moved into the apartment with him, and so that was April 2018. And then in November, we did purchase our first home, which is where I am sitting now. Okay, sorry if the angle is a little different. I already had to change the battery. But yes, so in November of 2018, we purchased our first home. And honestly, this was not our first choice. And it was the kind of home that I personally did not really want to move into. I am someone who really hates like cookie cutter type things. I hate like being like everybody else, whatever. I'm an INFJ, so maybe you can relate if you are the same. But anyway, we had a bit of a hard time when we purchased this first house. My husband was 23, I was 25, and it wasn't like a great time to buy a house necessarily, as in a lot of people were trying to buy a house, and we just felt like there were 3 or 4 homes that we were interested in. We would literally be like in the house saying, yes, we're interested in the house, and then we would get notified that the house was purchased by somebody else. And here in Columbus, that is still very much the case. This is a massively growing area. I believe Columbus was just deemed to be the largest growing city in the entire country. We just have so much industry here. There are so many jobs here. There's really a lot of great things about the area, which I will get into later. But yeah, anyway, when we first were looking for a house, we did have a hard time. We went through a couple realtors. We had just a bad experience of realtors not really taking us seriously because we were young. And then eventually we did get referred to the realtor that we worked with buying this house and then with also selling this house. She's a wonderful person, and she got us this house that we're in about 3 days of working with her. My initial issues with this house were that it is a cookie cutter house in a suburban neighborhood where every house basically looks the same. And I very much wanted at that time like an old farmhouse, old house, a house with a lot of character. I really love vintage. I really love unique things. I really like architecture. So I just did not like the idea of having this cookie cutter house. But we recognized that it was a really good starter home. It was in a good area. We're about 20 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes from this massive town. Essentially, it's a mall called Easton. If you are from here, you've definitely heard of it. So a lot of amenities within this area, and then other things were already starting to be built even closer to our house. And you guys will see a full house tour. I think that's going to be the next video I put out. And I really did take a lot of time over the last 5.5 years to build character into this home. And that is something that I would recommend to other people. If you are like me, if you like an interesting house, if you don't want your house to look like everybody else's, you don't have to buy an old house. You can get a newer home and you can create that character yourself. So yeah, in that video, the house tour video, I will point out different things that I did that I feel like really did make a big difference and that were complimented a lot when we did eventually show our house to sell it. So we were settled in this house by 2018, and I will be honest, I knew from the beginning that I did not want to stay in Ohio long term. It was a very good place for us to have our first home. My parents live about 15 minutes from us. I do, of course, have some high school friends around that I have remained friends with. So this was a very safe place for us to live. My husband also got his first job with my dad's previous company. The company no longer exists, but it was a really great first job for him. I got my first job at my old high school, which I definitely was helped to get by my connection with that school. So I do not regret in any way, shape, or form that we did settle here first, even though we both knew it was not where we were going to be long term. We both always have really wanted to live in the South. I feel like that just fits better with us and like the lifestyle that we want to create for ourselves and for future children. There are so many great things about Columbus. I think it is a fabulous place to live, but just know if you are thinking about moving here by chance, there are also a lot of other people moving here. As I said, it is the #1 growing city in the country, so that tells you something. However, we do have literally like every restaurant and store you could possibly think of, and that's something I don't actually love about the area, or I've come to not really love it. I feel like it just makes me and my husband and like everyone around just always like want to go out to eat, always want to go shopping because there's so much of that here. And there's not necessarily a ton of just like outdoor free things. They are here, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely a lot of trails. We have a ton of trails. We do have a lot of water and things like that, but overall, compared to other areas in the country, the things to do here cost money and it kind of fuels consumerism, I would say. Other great things about the area is that like literally all of the towns surrounding Columbus are nice. Like some are super nice, but everything looks good. And that's not something I could say about every area or even the area that we are moving to. So that's a huge pro that you could just drive anywhere and it's pretty. People I would say are also generally quite friendly here. I think there is that kind of stereotypical Midwest spirit. People are quite willing to help you. I haven't run across too many people that I would just say are like out and out nasty people. A lot of the schools are very good here as well. Not necessarily Columbus City. Columbus City is pretty rough, but I think that's true for probably most any city. And for us too, we are Catholic and Columbus is a very Catholic area. There are a lot of churches that are large and have a lot of faith formation activities, things like that. So that has been a huge benefit for us living here too. But for us, we really don't like winter. We like the sunshine. We like a lot of outdoor activities. And when I'm thinking about what I want my future family to look like, I do want us to be outside a lot. I want us to be enjoying the ocean. And again, of course, you can be very active and healthy and all of those things in Columbus. You can do that anywhere. But we just really want to live in an area where we can be outside literally any day of the year. Another big thing too is that since I'm not originally from here, my husband is not originally from here, the only family we have close is my parents. And like all my aunts and uncles, all of these people, all of Ryan's family, they all live in Pennsylvania. So if we were picking a place to live solely off of where our family was, we would be in Pennsylvania, but we just really don't want to live in Pennsylvania. So yeah, lots of good things about living here, but ultimately we decided we do want to make the move down to South Carolina. We are going to be living about half an hour outside of Charleston, which is totally my vibe. I absolutely love the whole Charleston area. I love that we are going to be close to the city, but not like right by the city. And same with the ocean. We're actually in a really good point where even like the weather doesn't really affect us where we are going to be living. Of course, we'll get like the heavy rainfall and things like that, but my husband and I actually traveled down to the city that we will be moving to, which is Summerville, South Carolina. We traveled there almost exactly a year ago. It's kind of weird. And we spent 2 weeks there, and we really like tried to live like the locals as much as we could. We went to the grocery stores, we went to church, you know, we talked to a lot of people about what they liked about living there, if there were things they didn't. And there were actually a lot of people who had moved from the north, and they said it was the best decision of their lives. You know, the summers were not super bad by any means. It gets pretty hot and humid up in Ohio in the summer. And there was one woman we met from Ohio, and she said, it's hotter, but like really not that big of a deal at all, and it's absolutely worth it when you can be sitting outside in January. But when we were down in Summerville last year, we identified the area where we wanted to live, and we knew it was just a matter of time before we would be making the move. And for us, we would have made that move a lot closer to a year ago if things had been just a little bit different for us. For my husband, who does bring in the majority of our money, he needed to be able to show the banks that he had been working for himself for 2 years and had had a consistent paycheck. So that's a bad thing about working for yourself, and because of that, we did have to wait until February of this year to be able to be approved for the loan. This is getting so long, so I do apologize to you guys, but hopefully it's interesting. I'm like very nosy. I like to hear all this stuff from other people. And maybe it will help you if you are considering a big move. But anyway, so this is where things got really crazy because we were planning for so long, but we couldn't really do anything about it. I did try to be a little bit proactive and declutter a lot over the last few months. Pretty much after Christmas on, I've just been doing a lot of decluttering, and that was really nice because now we got that all out of the way. But today, the day that I'm filming this, it is Tuesday, February 13th. We have sold our home at this point, or we've entered into contract, but it has gone so quickly. So I'm looking at my calendar to try to like help keep me grounded, but I believe it was about February 1st, like Thursday, February 1st, is when we got all our taxes back, so we were able to kind of submit that to be able to be approved for a loan. So we were dealing with that stuff for a couple days. My husband is an absolute champ and was the one who was like back and forth on the phone with all these different people. It gets like so complicated and not fun, and I really hate dealing with anything like that, so I'm glad that he at least doesn't mind it. I would certainly not say enjoy it. I don't think anybody really enjoys this whole process necessarily. But so yeah, that was like Thursday the 1st, and then just a couple days later we contacted our realtor, who we have been in contact with over the last couple of years because we knew that we would be moving sooner rather than later, and we really just get along with her after she did help us buy our house. So we got some stuff ready real quick in our house. We tried to, you know, clean up as best we could, and then on Sunday, February 4th, our realtor came and she took some preliminary pictures of our house, and she created a coming soon post on Zillow and Realtor.com and all those things. So we really hit the ground running on February 4th. And then from like February 4th to February 7th, my husband and I were madly finishing projects in our house. We had to finish the trim, we had to paint doors. I was like going around, you know, with the magic eraser trying to clean up the walls, do all that kind of stuff. And then actually on Tuesday, February 6th, we did have professional cleaners come in, which I would highly recommend that anybody does, no matter how clean you are, if you are about to get pictures, if you are about to have people come view your house. And it was shockingly not that expensive. I think it was a little less than $300 for 3 people to come in for like 3 hours. And they literally cleaned my oven. Like, they did all this deep cleaning, which was amazing because my husband and I are not great about the deep cleaning. So then February 7th, Wednesday, February 7th, just the next day, we had our professional pictures done, and that was a very easy process. They know what they're doing, obviously, so that was wonderful. The next day, February 8th, was when just kind of like the listing got finalized. The realtor was doing stuff on her end, and then Friday, February 9th, our listing was officially live. We had 21 showings between Friday the 9th and Saturday the 10th, the majority of them being on Friday. So yeah, it's absolutely a hot market here in Columbus. I don't know about other areas in the country, but we had a lot of interest in our house. We have a pretty classic starter home and downsizing home. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, ranch. So a very desirable layout. We were very fortunate with that. And also over the past 5.5 years that we've lived in this house, the area has absolutely exploded. As I said before, we are only 20 minutes from downtown. We're only 10 minutes from this other big area, Easton. But it used to be like pretty rural, like from here to those places. And yeah, over the last 5 years, they have put so much stuff. We've got a Target 5 minutes from our house, and just, you know, like all these different complexes. So many things that are 5 minutes away. So that was a huge reason that we did have so many people interested in the home as well. So Saturday was when we knew we were going to make the official decision about the buyer of our home. We did have a few very solid offers, and we ended up going with one that was well over our asking price. We were very, very fortunate that we got a few offers that were well over asking price, and we just ended up going with the one that was the best fit for us because we already had a house picked out. So as I said, we had the community picked out. We knew the area where we were going to live in Somerville. We figured that out literally a year ago, and we had been getting updates over the past few months about which homes were available. And there was one that we really, really liked like a couple months ago, and we said if we can get all our taxes and loan stuff figured out before this house sells, that would be amazing because it's just a really, really great house. So we were able to put some earnest money down in this whole process as we were trying to sell our house to kind of reserve it. So because of that, we had to pick a buyer who was able to close pretty quickly on our house, and we were able to get that. So yeah, today is February 13th. Our house has been officially in contract for 3 days, and it will close on March 5th, which is pretty quick. And we're at that point now where we're just like coming down from all the adrenaline because it was like 10 solid days of trying to do the taxes, trying to do the loans, preparing our house for pictures, preparing our house for viewing and all this stuff. The stress of, is someone going to want to buy our house? How much are we going to be able to get for the house? And then securing the house in the south. But now all that is done and we can just start worrying about packing. But the other good thing that we were able to do with the buyers of our home is that even though we are going to be closing on March 5th, we are able to retain occupancy of our home until March 25th technically, but we will be out of here by March 18th. We will be closing on our new home March 20th, and it is a 9.5-hour drive from here in Columbus. So we are giving ourselves, you know, a couple days to get down there, get settled, so we are ready to sign those papers. So everything has worked out really, really well so far. I am so excited to share all the moving content with you. It's so odd to know that as I'm filming this, it's already all happened and I am settled down in South Carolina. But I think we're in a really good spot. We have about 5 weeks to get our house ready. We are still in talks with some different moving companies. We're trying to decide if we want to just have the full moving process, people come in, box everything up. If that's the case, we don't really have to do too much because they're gonna do everything. But we are anticipating that that would be very expensive. So probably what's going to happen is that we rent a trailer or rent a box or whatever, I don't know, and we pack everything up ourselves, and then we hire some college hunks or whatever to load everything into the trailer, and then somebody else will drive it down to South Carolina. That would be a lot cheaper because we would be, you know, boxing everything and moving everything ourselves technically. But you will see what we decide over the next few videos. But absolutely, I am going to be doing a full house tour. As I said, that's going to be the next video. And then I'll also probably do at least one kind of like tourist in my own city, exploring Columbus, trying to hit some of these spots that have been on my bucket list for years that I just have never gotten to. But yeah, I am so excited. If you've stayed this long, you are a champ. This really just turned into a podcast episode, honestly. And if you have any questions for me, definitely leave them down below. It can be very complicated to move cross country, so I am happy to answer any questions that I can. Or if you are by chance moving to Columbus, let me know and I can give you some recommendations about places to go or whatever. I have lived here for a long time. And if you do live in the Charleston area, if you do live in the Summerville, South Carolina area, absolutely let me know. I am so excited to explore this whole new place. I've only lived in Pennsylvania and Ohio. I've never lived in the South, and I think I'm going to absolutely love it. And I actually am starting another channel, but it's all going to be shorts. It's not going to be long form content, called Allie Lee Goes South. So I'm very excited to create a lot of shorts about all the different places that I go in the South. But yes, lots of moving content to come, lots of like getting my new house ready, all of that kind of stuff to come. But if you like books, if you like lifestyle content, if you like moving content, please make sure to subscribe. And if you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. But thank you guys so much again for watching, and I am so excited to see you soon. Bye.